Well, it is 2:30, the dental hour, and it's time for the Timbercrest chat. Before we begin the actual chat, just a couple of announcements as you're aware. The first and the foremost, I guess, today is that there's no interview. I'm going to be sharing a little bit, but there won't be an interview today. But a couple of things that you would be interested in knowing about. First of all, you've seen some signs around Timbercrest, some yellow signs on some stands that give some reminders about wearing a mask and keeping socially distant and those sorts of things. And those things are for those things are mainly for the visitors that we have come into the building. And so we're working to keep everybody educated. We want to keep everybody informed about the right thing to do so that we can stay open. That's one of the main objectives that we have, is we want to be able to stay open reasonably well and reasonably healthy. The second thing is that there is an opportunity for you to sign up for flu shots. We just got the word in everyone's mailbox in the Manor yesterday. Notice will be going out to the neighborhood homes tomorrow. And I think it's already on Channel 2 that flu shots will be this coming Wednesday, October 14, in the chapel. Not the chapel, I'm sorry, in the assembly room. And that, like I said, we are asking everybody to sign up. The reason we want you to sign up is not to schedule an appointment. That's not it. The sign up is because the supply of flu serum is very limited. And so we only have so many vaccinations available to give. This is a vaccine that's developed especially for 65 and older. And again, that supply is limited. So we're asking everybody to please sign up. So for those who want the flu shot here, you can get it. As I said, the notification came yesterday. And so the notification came yesterday, and we've already had 79 people sign up in just one day. So you want to take advantage of that. Also, speaking of signing up for things, there is another dinner, I think it's this weekend. It's a chicken noodle dinner at the South Pleasant United Methodist Church. And you can get on the list for that by giving a donation. It's not free. They do ask for a donation, but you can give your donation at the receptionist desk, and Lucy will get you on the list and be able to do that. I also wanted to share a little bit of good news with you. Stan Knopfsinger has been home from the hospital now for a little bit over a week, and the back surgery went very well. He was very, very grateful. He told me on the phone, he said, "I'm so grateful." It was really a nice boost of cheer for him to receive the sunshine basket that we took to him, and a very meaningful time for him. And so he's healing well. He's able to walk around the Wellborn house without any kind of assistance. The only pain that he has is that pain that's in his back, not from the back injury. He said that's pretty well healed, but the issue with the only pain that he has is actually surgery related pain. So that is what's going on with Stan. So he did appreciate everybody's cards, everybody's little gifts and that sort of thing, and especially your prayers. And so again, remember Stan, he'll be starting back to work next Tuesday, I believe he said, and it'll be just part-time, as often goes with surgery. It'll be just part-time for a few days until he's up to being back full-time. But again, he wanted me to express that to everybody here at Timbercrest. As far as today goes, as far as our chat goes, I thought I would talk to you a little bit about something that it's just a part of me, but I get asked about all the time. In fact, I just got asked about it again this morning by Dan May, and I'll touch on that in just a second. But the question from Dan May is very common, but I wanted to let you know that I have 2 interviews lined up for next week. On Tuesday of next week, Gary Heisler is going to be talking to us about a little bit about TUG, which is the Technology Users Group, a little bit about the garden, about kind of a year-end summary of what went on in the Timbercrest garden this year, but also about an opportunity that we have with food service. Apparently now, if we do the right things in the Timbercrest garden, the food service, the kitchen next summer will be able to use food that we grow here on campus in the manor. They'll be able to use green beans, and they'll be able to use corn and some other things that we grow. And as many of you know, that's a long-standing tradition that a few years ago we ran into a snag with that due to some other regulations. But Ryan Robinson, who's our new Director of Dining Services, has some information about how we can get around that and how we can legally get around it, so that we'll be able to have fresh fruits and vegetables from the Timbercrest garden again on the tables starting next year. So that's really a good thing. So Gary and I will be talking about the garden. We'll be talking about the possibilities for this for next year for Timbercrest, and then a little bit about the Technology Users Group. Next Thursday, then, we'll have Nate Bloomfield. Nate visited with us on the Timbercrest chat a few months ago. Nate's one of the therapists with HTS on campus here. And Nate is going to be talking about some exercises as we head into the winter months, and especially some things that you might be able to do in your recliner. We hope that we can have a recliner here in the Timbercrest Chapel, and Nate will actually be able to demonstrate for you some of the things that you can do in your own home to get some exercise, get some strengthening and that sort of thing, so that as things get colder, as the winter moves in, we'll be able to stay healthy even in our own apartment. So you want to tune in for that next Tuesday and next Thursday. But I don't have a guest for today. I've asked a wide number of people, and so today you get me, and that's okay. And I wanted to talk about Dan May's question. Dan May just moved, he and his wife Dot just moved to D-Wing. And Dan asked me a very basic question. He said, why is it that you don't wear shoes all the time? He said, just this morning, he said, I saw you park your car and you walked up to the front door, Timbercrest, and then you put your shoes on when you came in the building. And I'll be honest, it's not something I like to talk about a whole lot. It's just part of who I am and what I do. But a lot of people are new at Timbercrest. A lot of people don't know me very well. A lot of people who've known me for a long time know the story. But I'll tell you the story from the beginning to the end, or to today, if you want. If you have specific questions for me about going barefoot, you can call me on my cell phone. The number is 901-9651. That's the same number as the bingo number. Or you can send me a text at that number, 901-9651. But how did I get started going barefoot, and why do I do that? I started going barefoot, let's start at the very beginning. Back in 2004, I had hip bursitis. It was terrible. It was the most pain I'd been in, I can't remember when. Actually, until I had my pancreatitis attack a year ago, I hadn't been in that much pain, and it just was so sore and so difficult. So I did what everybody does. I went to the doctor, and he did an x-ray, and there was nothing broken, because I thought I had even possibly, walked into one of these chair rails, these handrails that goes around the manor. I thought I'd walked into one of those and maybe broke my hip or cracked it somehow. And Dr. McCann said, no, that your hips are good. He said, I believe you probably have a bursitis. So they gave me a cortisone shot, and the cortisone shot worked okay for about an hour and a half. And it deadened the pain. But whenever I walked, I still felt it. You know what I mean? When I was just sitting, there wasn't any pain. But walking around, it was pretty bad. And so the pain was so bad, and this went on for weeks and months. The pain was so bad, my daughter was a freshman in college, and in the January of 2005, she had gone on a J-term trip to Grand Cayman, and the souvenir she brought me back was a cane from Grand Cayman. And so the cane is a carved cane, and it's beautiful. I really like it, but I was walking around here with a cane. I had that cane. I had another cane that I was walking around. And then finally, I went to talk. This was in the spring of 2005. We had a woman who lived here named Nidra Hawkins. And Nidra was Jeff Hawkins' mother. Jeff used to be the pastor at the Lutheran church here, and the Hawkins still have their farm east of town. Jeff and Kathy Hawkins are both retired now, and their farm is out there. But Jeff's parents lived here at Timbercrest, and Glenn and Nidra owned a health food store in Fort Wayne, and they sold all kinds of health food items and that sort of thing. And Nidra, as part of the more holistic approach to health, did foot reflexology. And so she had a number of clients here at Timbercrest, and I was one of them. So I was in her chair, she was working on my feet, and I was telling my aches and pains and the problem I had with this bursitis. She said, you know, Brian, why don't you do this? Why don't you just try going barefoot for a couple of days and see how it goes? So I did that. That was on a Friday. Well, by Sunday morning, it was, I couldn't believe the difference. It was like I had been healed. All I needed was Peter and John there and sitting on the temple steps, because it was gone. The pain was gone. So I began to read more. I began to look up more information and that sort of thing, and started going barefoot around the house more. Started going barefoot more around doing yard work and that sort of thing. And then as time went on, I learned more and more about the benefits of going barefoot just all the time. And so there's a number of those benefits. I should let you know that we did go through, in that several month time period, by the time I went to Dr. McCann to the time I had my appointment with Nidra, several different insoles, several different pairs of shoes, several different kind of support socks, some things like that we thought something's got to be the trick to doing that. And that going barefoot was the thing for me. I'm not real evangelical about going barefoot, but I do think that it works for me. I go barefoot all the time when I'm not at Timbercrest. I have a couple of cheap 87-cent flip-flops in my Volkswagen and in Karen's car, so that when we go someplace that requires you to wear shoes, I wear those cheap 87-cent flip-flops into the stores. I have been kicked out of stores before. I've been kicked out of Walmart twice because I was in Walmart without shoes on. And so I started wearing my flip-flops into Walmart, of all places. There was a restaurant that we were in out in Colorado Springs, where my daughter lives. And that restaurant allowed people to bring their dogs in, but they didn't let me go in there barefooted, which I thought was really strange, that there was a restaurant that, there we were at these different tables and all that. And there were people sitting there with their dogs sitting right there beside them on the table. The dogs could be in the restaurant, but a person without shoes could not be. I was asked to simply go put on shoes there. So I ran out to the car and got some sandals and put those on. Whenever it's possible, Karen and I eat outdoors because there's never an issue with being barefoot in a restaurant or any place outdoors. And there are a number of places here in North Manchester that are very open to that. They've been very accepting and very accommodating of my need to be barefoot or my desire to be barefoot. Not the least of which is Nordman's Nook. We do a lot of business, not just Timbercrest, but they do dry cleaning and laundry, like the starched white shirts, and they've never said anything about it. A couple of the shops downtown have never said anything about it. So the library has never said anything about it. So like I said, I don't do it to be offensive. I do it because it really improves my health. That's the long and the short of it.